Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Shuffle Music Reviews and Retrospectives from a Gracelessly Aging Millennial. My name's Keaton. We are here today with a new album review from the talk of the indie music world for the last couple of weeks. And we're talking about an artist named Tyler Ballgame, new artist. If you follow the music news, you've probably seen this guy's name around for the past couple weeks. And if you don't follow the music news, well, I'm here with a review of a new album that you might like. Meet Tyler Ballgame, the LA-based crooner who really believes in love. This is a write-up from Uncut Magazine. Tyler Ballgame was born in a bar. One night he was plain old Tyler Perry, a suburban Rhode Island musical theater kid and a fan of the rock and grunge greats, the Beatles, The Who, Nirvana, singing covers in local clubs to fund his DIY musical ambitions, including albums of, quote, Nick Drake cosplay. Then someone in the crowd requested Roy Orbison's Crying, and the ball game began. Yeah, Tyler Perry, that name is taken. New Englander that he is, he came up with Tyler Ballgame, apparently an homage to Ted Williams, Boston Red Sox player, whose nickname was Teddy Ballgame. Quote, I'd sing it like him, meaning Roy Orbison, and people would freak out, says Perry today. It was like, oh, people aren't used to hearing a singer who can do this. From that theatrical showman part of his psyche leapt Tyler Ballgame, an elegant and soulful crooner in the Orbison, Presley, and Nilsson mold. Quote, it just became fun to create this character. It goes back to being a theater actor. You occupy the space, and for this, I'm occupying the space of my idealized frontman from the 60s and 70s, and out of that came his debut album For the First Time Again. No title, no picture of him on the cover, just this still life of an orange tree. But For the First Time Again is the name of the album. It is produced by Jonathan Rado and Ryan Polly, and it was recorded mostly live to tape. It has this real heavy sort of retro production quality to it, very consciously on just about every single track. Tyler Ballgame is quite a good singer. He does sound just like Roy Orbison. I mean, he is pretty much a dead ringer for Roy Orbison, but he does a little more with his voice than that. There are certain tracks here where he gets a little growly and even a little screamy, which is kind of fun. That's on Matter of Taste, which is one of the more upbeat songs on this. I like that one a lot. That's track 4. The first half of this album, though, is quite strong. For the First Time Again, the title track, kind of a slower ballad. I Believe in Love has a lot of catchy, poppy piano hooks in there that I like a lot. You're Not My Baby Tonight, just kind of a standard ballad, and Sing How I Feel, same way. There does become a point on this record, though, where it becomes a little excessive, both in the vocal department and especially in the production department. It's strange, for a lot of the indie music, 21st century sort of recent history, you've seen certain like trends come and go within the indie world. So the first big one, and these are not all necessarily a bad thing, was like the chamber pop trend. Artists like the Fleet Foxes, Bon Iver, Sufjan Stevens, Iron and Wine, sort of more hushed, more sort of acoustic artists. Like I said, not necessarily a bad thing. I like just about all those artists just fine. Then you had kind of the more gimmicky stuff come in, like the stomp and holler trends, as the Come Town podcast guys once referred to it very funnily as Civil War music, where, instead of a drummer, you just stomp on the floor and scream. Artists like the Lumineers, Mumford & Sons, which, again, not terrible. And then you had the sort of synth pop trend with artists like MGMT in the 2010s. It seems like there's always, this sort of fad that sort of comes and goes, where there's sort of like an ironic nod to a bygone era embedded in a lot of indie artists of the day. And this kind of feels like a function of that trend. I think the songwriting is, for the most part, very good. I think he's obviously a great singer. I think, though, the problem with this album is that it really gets drowned in the pretense of making this sound as though it's a 60-year-old recording. Just because he sounds like Roy Orbison, just because he can sometimes sound like Elvis Presley, that doesn't mean every single song has to sound like it was recorded in 1963. And I think when the production is that heavy, when it calls so much attention to itself, it takes you out of the songwriting. It takes you out of the listening experience. There's a lot of these songs that are naturally evocative of bygone eras. One song that's particularly good from a songwriting standpoint is a song called Down So Bad. That's track 9. So by the time I get to that, I'm a little exhausted by the self-referential sort of pseudo-retro sound of the thing. That song has a really great melody. It's great lyrics. It's sung very well. I just feel like the production on that is so heavy-handed. It is so consciously drawing your attention to the fact that, hey, doesn't this sound like an early 60s sort of soul pop rock song? Yeah, it does. And you know what? It would kind of sound like that if you didn't drag me into that world with this heavy-handed sort of sonic engineering. Just play the song. The song has a great sort of timeless quality about it. It has a retro melody, and it's well done. It's well written. It's well sung. The music on here is generally pretty good, but I do think that it suffers from the production. I do think it's too much. It's too much. It has a theater kid quality past a certain point, as Tyler Ballgame talks about. That was an interview from September that I just read you. So that was about 5-6 months before this album came out. 4 or 5, whatever the math is. But the point is, he is very consciously putting on a presentation, and I feel like, you know, that can sometimes, in this case, I guess it did, get you a record deal and jumpstart a career in the music business. He went to Berklee College, and then he dropped out and was sort of, you know, living at home in Rhode Island. And then he went on tour in London, got himself a record deal with Rough Trade, which put this album out. And so God bless him. He's talented. He's obviously got something going on here. He's getting a lot of eyeballs on him. And he probably has a good career ahead of him. If you go to his Instagram, you could see a lot of videos of him just playing in kind of empty bars, getting his start the way a lot of musicians get their start. He wasn't a particularly prolific poster. He's got fewer than 200 posts on his Instagram, so it's not like he's a guy who like went viral online. He just caught the eyes of a few people who got him this record deal, and God bless. He definitely has talent. But if you look, like here's a screenshot here. I have to be very careful with copyright because we're having some issues with YouTube. Don't worry, we'll be fine. But I can't talk too much about that. But for those reasons, I can't, at least for the next couple months, start just playing songs willy-nilly. I know I would love to play this video for you, but I just can't take a chance yet. But yeah, here he is just rocking out. This is his performance of Matter of Taste, which is a great song. I feel like you could just perform these songs without layer upon layer of throwback and homage and what really at a certain point becomes gimmick more than homage. So that would be my criticism of the album. But the songs themselves are fun. The lyric writing is good. He is a very talented vocalist at the beginning of his career. So we'll see where he goes from here. But I can give this album 3 stars, no doubt about it. I would give it 3.5, maybe even 4, if it were just a little more straightforward in the production. I feel like the problem with this album is it just gets drowned in pretense. But still good. There's still enough to recommend it. Like I said, the first half of the album I think is very strong. Who knows? Maybe I would like the second half of the album more if the track order were reversed. Maybe it's just that I got tired of the premise. Maybe the premise just wore itself out. So maybe if I listened to this in reverse order, I would really dig the last 4 or 5 songs and then get tired of it by the time we got to the first 5. So that is something to think about perhaps. But in any case, there's enough here to recommend it, particularly Matter of Taste and I Believe in Love. Those are 2 of the more sort of upbeat tunes here. Pretty catchy, very, very well delivered and well performed. And like I said, Down So Bad toward the end, it's a great tune. It's a really great tune. By then, I was a little worn out on the sort of pseudo-retro vibe of the whole thing. So not a perfect release by any means, but not bad, pretty good. 3 stars for Tyler Ballgame's For the First Time again. So if you want to check it out, it's all over YouTube. It's on streaming. If you follow the indie music world, I'm sure you've heard of this by now. So check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.